All right, so now we're going to put the demand and supply side together. All right, we are going to take a look at first long-run equilibrium in the economy. What is a long-run equilibrium? This is the equilibrium means stable, right? This is when the quantity of aggregate demand is equal to the quantity of aggregate supply. And that means the economy is at full employment and the unemployment rate is equal to the natural rate of unemployment. So basically, long-run aggregate supply equals the short-run aggregate supply equals the aggregate demand. So the graph looks like this. You see, that Y star is the full employment level of output, and U star is the natural rate of unemployment. So we have at point A, basically at point A is the long-run equilibrium. Okay? All right. Take a look at different points here. If we have different prices, for example, at PL, right here, PL, is this PL, the quantity of aggregate demand is larger than the quantity of aggregate supply. So price will get pushed up, right? This price is too low. Price going to get pushed up so that the price level will rise until it reaches the P star. Now, if you look at the other side, if price level is at pH, the quantity of aggregate supply respond to pH will be larger, right? This quantity will be larger than the quantity the corresponding to on the demand side, right? So if that is the case, goods are sitting around, so price gonna start to fall, right? And the price level will fall until it's at P star again. So point A is the long run equilibrium. Now, we are going to use this aggregate demand, aggregate supply model to determine the question that we want to answer, how the economy moves from one long run equilibrium to another. Okay, what we're going to do, here's a step. We're going to begin with the model in the long run equilibrium, and then we are going to determine whatever the events that we're going to look at. We're going to determine which curve or curves is going to be are affected by the change or changes and the direction of the changes. And then we are going to shift the curves in the appropriate direction, and then we determine the new short run and new long run equilibrium, and then compare the new equilibrium with the starting point. So those are the steps that you'd like to see. Start with the long run equilibrium, and then determine which curve is going to be affected by the change, which direction would that change the curve, and then we will shift the curves in the appropriate direction. Then we determine the new short run and or the long run equilibrium point, and then we're going to compare the new equilibrium to with the starting point. All right, let's get started. So the first one, suppose we have a technology shock, which curves will shift, which direction would that be? And what happened to equilibrium price and the real GDP? All right, so we need to try to look at the long run equilibrium first, and then we are going to analyze this. So I switched to use this so that we can see, action at the same time. So what I just asked earlier, I said, okay, suppose we have a technological shock, right? Is this not just a supply shock, but it's basically the change in the productivity. So the first question, like we asked, right? We're starting with the long run equilibrium. So this is our long run equilibrium, correct? This is the long run equilibrium where the long run supply curve, short run supply curve, and the aggregate demand at point A is a long run equilibrium. So we start with that. And then we determine this. Which curves will be affected by this change? The change here is technological shock, right? So which curves will shift? Since this is the whole thing about technology, so both supply, short run and long run will be affected with shift. Okay, So long run AS will shift and the short run AS will shift as well. So now the shock, it could be, most of the time this should be a good thing, right? This technology shock. So both supply curves, the long run aggregate supply and the short run aggregate supply is going to increase. The direction then will be shift to the right. It's going to be rightward shift. Okay, so what we're going to do next is we're going to shift it to the right, and then we will answer what happened to equilibrium price and equilibrium quantity. So now we start from point A, right? From point A, I'm going to move it up a little bit. So we're using the same color. So the new short run and long run, let me shift the long run aggregate supply first. It's going to shift to the right. This is the new full employment output. I'm going to use the Y double stars right there, right? This is the new long run aggregate supply, LRAS2. With the new long run aggregate supply, we have the new short run aggregate supply, okay, where we can reach a long run equilibrium again. This is SRAS2. So we are reaching point B. At point B, what happened is there will be an increase in what we call potential GDP. This is our full capacity, right? Natural rate of the output. And the price level is going to fall. Let's put some number in for reference, 95. So with this shock, technological shock, what happened to equilibrium price level and the real GDP? So the equilibrium price level, okay, we will write it down. Price level falls, right? And the real GDP rises. Okay, price level falls and real GDP rises. So that's the analysis. So now let's move on to the next thing. Use this ADAS model to analyze this. So the next thing here is, suppose there is a short run supply shock caused by an oil pipeline break. This oil pipeline break, this is not a long term, right? This is kind of a short run negative shock. Right? This is a short run negative shock. So it will not affect the long run aggregate supply. It will only just affect the short run aggregate supply. Okay? It's a supply shock, but it's a short run. And which direction will this short run aggregate supply shift? This is going to shift to the left, okay? Which means a decrease in the short run aggregate supply. So now let's shift that. So from this point, we're going to shift it to which way? It will shift to the left, right? So let's shift it to the left. If the short run aggregate supply shift to the left like this new point is the new point B. This point B is the short run equilibrium. So this is SRAS2. Right? And this point B is the short run equilibrium. Okay? So the short run equilibrium there, that's not the end of the story. In the short run, okay, I asked what happened to the price level and the real GDP in the short run. So the price level would rise, okay? Let's write these down first. Price level rises and the real GDP falls. Price level rises, but the real GDP falls. Now, the real question then becomes, is this the end of the story, right? So that is not the long run equilibrium. This is a short run equilibrium, short run equilibrium. So how do we get to the long run equilibrium? So the long run equilibrium, right now, the unemployment rate is much larger than U star, right? This UY, which is not the Y star. So this supply shock is temporary, okay? This is temporary. When the supply shock is temporary, eventually the supply curve, that short run aggregate supply that move from this to this is gonna return back to this. Okay, it's going to come back to this. That makes sense? Okay, it will shift back to the right again. So if that is the case, the price level, real GDP, and unemployment all return to the original levels. That makes sense? So that is how to get to the long run equilibrium. All right. So another example. Suppose there is a change in the consumer confidence. This is on the demand side, right? Consumer confidence rises and people start spending more. So definitely this will shift the aggregate demand, okay? And which direction? Aggregate demand then will shift to the right, which is indicate an increase in the aggregate demand. So let's shift it. We're right there at the long run equilibrium, and now aggregate demand is going to shift right from this AD1 to AD2. So the new short run equilibrium is at point B. Now this Y is going to be larger than Y star. I'm just going to call this YA. So definitely because of the shift in the aggregate demand, the new price level is higher, right? We're just going to call this 105. So price level rises and the real GDP rises as well. Okay, so both price level and the real GDP both rise. So that is how we analyze it. Now the next question, is that the end of the story again? Is that the end of the story? No, it's not. Why is it not the end of the story? Because it's not a long run equilibrium yet, right? So what's going to happen is that, let me check the next page. See, it's not the end of the story, right? It's not the end of the story. So it's not the end of the story because we are not at the long run equilibrium yet. Okay, so in the long run, all prices going to adjust. When all prices adjust, meaning input prices that was inflexible before, so input prices will rise, and that will shift the short run aggregate supply, will shift to the left. Okay, that will shift it to the left. So we end up, okay, let me repeat my graph again. This is point B, right? So that AD1 and this is AD2. Now with the short run aggregate supply shift to the left, this is SRAS2. So from point A to point B now is going to be at point C, right? So we end up back at the full employment output again, but we will have a higher price level, right? This is a higher price level. Let's say 110. So that is how it adjusts to the long run equilibrium. Okay, so the key point here is that demand changes have no real effect in the long run. Only the price level is affected. All right, let me write that down. Actually, it's down here. Okay, so the recession, hold on, that's not what I want. I'm going to summarize here. The key point here is that demand changes, whatever the change in the aggregate demand, have no real effect in the long run. Okay, only the price level is affected. All right, so let's conclude it on the next few. Well, actually, this is the end, right? This is basically, that would be somewhat unexpected increase in the aggregate demand. So if recession are unexpected, right? So recession are unpredictable and can be caused by a variety of factors. This aggregate demand and aggregate supply model can help us understand the impact of all of these real-world changes in our macroeconomic impact. So we can use this ADAS model to evaluate past recession or analyze the policy remedies to this event. So basically, we can use this model to try to see how things happen in the economy that would affect the real GDP, right? And that would affect the price level. Okay, so that is the conclusion of this very last thing, right? The conclusion here will be, again, recession are unpredictable, but the ADAS model can help us understand, and we can use the ADAS model to analyze the past recession and the policy remedies for those events. This is the end of chapter 13. So hopefully you get some of this and we can do more practice during our virtual meetings.